This brings us to the semifinal. This is the final of the losers bracket. The loser here takes third place, and the winner goes on to fight in the finals. That match is going to be versus Blast Chilled. So on the left-hand side, we have got Who Is This Noob? And on the right, Pachi, otherwise known as Tourney Bar. And I just remembered that I need to turn on my mini-map, because this is actually a square one. Hallelujah! We can see what is going on. The name of the map is Chiron, however you pronounce this thing. I'm going to hit all the possible pronunciations so that one of them is in there somewhere and we can just kind of clip it out and see what's going on. On the right, Pachi is going for first land, followed by a power generator, probably 3 mass extractors after that, walking up to the hydro and building. And if you look at the heat map of the reclaim, you'll see there's quite a substantial amount. You've got 150 and 113 in your core base, along with a bunch of 5s and 10s scattered around practically everywhere, along with all of these annoying little trees. And then if you move up into the center island, you have these 175, 2 113s, and then again on the outer edges, you've got reclaim pretty much everywhere that there is a mountain. So there is an absolute boatload of mass to be had. The disadvantage being that the mass extractors are relatively few, far-flung, and difficult to get to. So Navy is going to be of the utmost importance, as well as claiming the center island. Reason being, if you get the island, your opponent gets the outside, you have about the same amount of mexes, but if your opponent has one Navy, they're going to be able to eliminate all of these mexes, leaving you with just the scant few in the core that are protected from destroyer fire by the surrounding walls. So you've got to put on a fight in all aspects, land, air, and navy. Typically, I do see ACUs walk up to the center in this map. You'll usually end up seeing those in here, and then they'll build some factories and go into combat. That has also led to some deaths, interestingly enough, because everyone in this tournament seems to be misplacing their ACUs, dang it! Ruining bets for everyone. But yeah, we'll see where this takes us, as the startup is a little bit slow, but we'll roll on into some action later on. Second air factory is the name of the game for Pachi. He's got his hydro and... excuse me. He's got his hydro and 4 power generators, which is going to be more than enough to power that air factory. I would not be surprised in the slightest to see either an early T2 mass extractor based off of the manual reclaim from here, or possibly an extremely early naval factory. We'll have to see where that goes. We also got second air online for Who Is This Noob? And he has himself also shot an air scout across to the opposing island, most likely to try to get eyes on a transport or to see if there's a bomber coming relatively soon. Looks like Pachi is going to be scooping up 6 engineers. Oh no! 5 engineers and a lab to carry to the center island. That's interesting. And that's going to drop here and probably there, and then potentially swing a lab somewhere to try and kill off some NGs. That is interesting indeed. Okay, we'll see where this goes. Looks like the drop is going to be there. Oh, I didn't even notice. There's a whole group of crystals here that are probably worth 5 reclaim each. Did not notice. Okay, so 3 engineers in the lab, and then we've got 2 more engineers that are going to drop here and here. But the important spot is there so that land factories can be brought online and the land spam can begin. Looks like ACU, for the time being, is going to hang out in the base, which is kind of an odd thing to see. And it looks like Who Is This Noob is already on his 2nd air factory. That's going to give him a pretty dang good head start on the air game. Interceptor is after the transport, but it is far too late. Also, Anti falling in line behind is going to nail that son of a gun before it can do more than 50 damage to the transport. That was a nice pickup there. little bit of reclaim in for Pachi. I'm assuming that he needs some mass to make ends meet. Oh, look at that. 235 right there. There's a frigate wreck on the island. Interesting. Some on the other side as well. So that means there could very well be... Yes, 227s there. Transport for a total of 200 right there. There's a lot of mass on this map, and it is so good. So good. Probably going to see engineers dropping out here and a walking engineer out this way, or floating rather, for Pachi. Who is this noob? Is doing a pretty much identical thing with nearly identical timing on his side of the map as well. So again, going back to that old thing, if you got two top tier 1 versus 1 players and they're both doing the same thing, then you might want to make a little mental note of that and stick with it on your next build. Okie dokie. Looks like Noob is finishing up the last of his power generators adjacent on this factory and may indeed be building more on the others. It's so weird not seeing the ACUs dive into the fight in the middle. Every game that I've ever watched, at least one ACU has gone to the center early. But again, harkening back to that rule, I guess we need to reevaluate our life choices because neither of these guys is. Transport dropping over this way. That is probably going to be for... Nope, didn't have enough engineers. So he dropped one over there, probably might pick it back up and then move over to that edge, which I think would be the better option of those available. I hear a hunter. Where is Le Hunter? Over here, killing a mass extractor as an engineer comes into view. Nice. Okay, so that's going to kill that expansioneer and then be free to kill at least one mass extractor before these mantis are able to come in and clean it off the face of the earth. It's good to go mid, Brink, says Bully Dozers. They might not know the meta. Ah, okay. So both of these players may be new to this map. That's interesting. Okay. Dunst also says, this is the first map where I had an enemy engineer survive a reclaim duel on 0 HP. So I have an unreasonable negative bias for the map. Okay, that's kind of hilarious. So the calculated HP was 0. It sucked the HP dry, but it didn't have time to actually kill the unit. That is the closest I've ever heard a reclaim war coming. I guess because it's probably because you can't have, you can have 2 bullets in the air at the same time for a mutual KO, but you cannot have 2 reclaims end at the same time because one has to finish reclaiming the other. So somehow the game figured, I don't know if it was a toss-up between the two or if maybe you both started in the same game tick, but one of you started slightly sooner within that tick. I don't know. There has to be one engineer that finishes the reclaim on the other. So it just has to pick one. Yeah, it's a fractional amount of HP. Yeah, Subcom is very bad at rounding. If I remember correctly, I'm just kind of watching this take place because it is a little bit slow. I'm just trying to keep an eye on what's going on. Ooh, I do like the drop down here. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like Subcom starts rounding up at 0.4 or something stupid like that. So it's like 0.4 and 0.5 round up. And it has to be 0.3 to round down or something stupid. I'm not sure. Okay. So, we've got 2 naval factories in the yard. That is... My naval facts bring all the boys to the yard. Sorry, that's where my brain went. My brain is done, okay? It's late in the tournament. It's going. It's going. That's going to be 4 total naval factories planned. We've got 4 air factories. One of them is a T2 HQ. We got T2 power coming online on the south side. We do not have a T2 HQ, and we also are short 1 air factory with a whole hell of a lot of T1 power being built over there. Looks like Pachi is bringing his ACU up to the middle. He's going to enter it into combat on the left side of the island, and it's going to be interesting to see whether or not that tips the balance in his favor and lets him take control of this entire center ring. Looks like Pachi was able to get a land factory online to the north, though, more quickly, but there's a point defense on the factory. That is unfortunate indeed. So if he can get a Medusa out the other edge of the factory, he may be able to get that eliminated and survive with his engineer, but I just don't think the APM is there for Pachi to notice and take advantage of that. Transport is out for the northern island. Looks like he's going to let him take it. There goes the NGs, and there goes the factory. So T2 has been started on the ACU. Interesting call on that one, but I can't fault him for it because he may go for a tack launcher on the island. I'm curious to see what the range of that is, but I'm sure it could reach some valuable stuff once the mech upgrades they start a-flowing. But you can also drop Cerberus turrets in the seam here. This is water, so you can't get Mantis through it. Once you seal off that edge, you're not going to be seeing any intrusions. I spy with my little eye a dangerous little T2 gunship. We've also got 2 T2 mass extractors online with a 3rd on the way. So who is this noob is doing pretty dang well on eco. Pachi is getting himself outmaneuvered. So he has lost air control. He is increasing in his number of interceptors, but he's still behind. We got 2 T2 gunships on the other edge, and it looks like he is behind in total count on land units. Let's go take a look-see at the armies of these guys. Set focus army 0. That is going to give us Pachi. He has got 65 Mantis. We're going to call that 90 T1 units. 90 T1 and 16 interceptors on 69 eco. And then on the north side, we have got 63 Mantis. So pretty substantially behind. That's only about 80 total. And then we've got 28 interceptors on 71 income. So the income is virtually identical for both of these guys, oddly enough. And it slightly favors air for Noob, and it slightly favors land for Pachi. But we've seen before in a game how that goes. Cerberus turret being placed will be able to help plink away at all this stuff. Hopefully the T2 gunships don't cause too much of a headache for Pachi. It's going to be 3 factories producing with more engineers coming in to assist. Interesting fact that I'm sure a lot of you know because I've said it before on the channel, but some things bear repeating because you end up forgetting or you get new people who haven't watched before. The naval factory is the only factory that's cost efficient to put engineers on to assist. All the other factories, the factories cost about the same as 4 engineers, and they have 20 build power, and the engineers have 4. Or have 5 each. So it takes 4 NGs to equal the build power of a factory, which means you can very quickly calculate your opponent's build power by checking and saying, oh yeah, he has, 8 engineers assisting a factory, so that's basically 3 factories. I have 4 factories, none of them assisted, so I'm producing more than he is. And the cost goes back and forth on the 2. The difference is naval factories, because naval factories cost as much as 6 engineers, but they only have the build power of 4. So you get more out of it to assist naval factories with engineers. However, your naval factories are very difficult to protect from air. So you'll typically end up losing NGs to T1 bombers and whatnot. So it's kind of a trade-off that you have to make. Do I want to build naval factories and spend more mass, but my build power is safe? Or do I want to spend less mass, put engineers on it, and have more build power per mass? So that's kind of a decision that you have to make. Alrighty, taking a look in the middle. These gunships are becoming a lot of a bother. We've got a couple more mass extractors that are going to go offline. Apache does have some frigates underneath this air, but overall naval control looks to favor who is this noob. Also, the land battle in the midpoint here has pretty much drawn even. Where is Pachi's ACU? Where did you go? Over to the center island. That is where. Alright, so he's building T1 anti-air turrets there to hopefully help deny any of the stuff coming in and raiding his thingamajiggers. That T2 point defense is going to have the range, I think, to reach about right there. So he should be able to keep this entire walkway safe with just a handful of units. Over on this edge, it looks like our frigate count is up to 6-9 for who is this noob versus 2-4-6 for Pachi. So that is looking a bit sketch, but if we take a look at Pachi's air, he has increased his numbers quite substantially. Add that to the fact that who is this noob is starting to run low on fuel in some of his NTs, and you've got yourself a winning combination potentially. T2 gunships are going to move to the southern edge. Those are attack moves over all of this to kill off any factories and mexes that are in the area. Let me go ahead and go back and check on eco and whatnot. So who is this noob running 77? We've got 66 interceptors with about 100 land units. So 77, 66, 100. And then on Pachi's side, we've got 85, so a 7 mass lead. We've got 120 T1 units, so a 25 or 20% lead on that. And then 79 interceptors. So he actually does outnumber, but this air fight is going to make a huge difference in who comes out ahead, because the turns are everything. And it looks like who is this noob got the raw end of the deal on the initial turn, but Pachi has turned his back on a recovery swing from who is this noob. It is about even. Oh, but who is this noob is going to end up shredded. The HP was too low on most of his interceptors after the first pass. The number was deceptive. There were a lot of interceptors there, but they didn't have the HP to survive. Oh dear, oh dear. Pachi, get in the water. Get into the water. You're getting screwed for pathfinding. Please, let's not have another game end in stupidity. Thank you very much. Oh, and he walks back on the rock. That's fine. Corsairs incoming with gunships on Pachi. Even the ACU is getting in on it. No! No, what on earth is this even? 1,000 HP. In come the Corsairs and boom! Wow! Who is this noob pulling a win out of his buttocks? That was about to go very, very badly for him. He had lost air control. He was behind on land control. And yet again, ACU pathfinding deciding the victor. Oh. Part of me thinks that the strength of T1 spam is not in fact in its damage or health, but its ability to be so numerous that it can clog up the pathfinding of any unit that it comes up against, resulting in an absolute crushing defeat by force of AI confusion. Oh, man. Well, congrats to who is this noob. He's going to advance to the finals. Pachi is taking the 3rd place avatar for prize. So that is going to wrap up this game. Let me get over into the others and we will advance into the finals. That was a hell of a thing. Good Lord. We are now into the finals. It is starting on Fields of Thunder. This is best 2 out of 3 between Blastchilled and Who Is This Noob. So the winner of this match does not matter specifically, but if one of these guys wins this and the next one, then that is the tourney. Over on the left, we've got Who Is This Noob? He is pulling out a land factory first and second with 5 power generators, pretty typical build. And on the right hand side we have Blastchilled doing exactly the same thing, except not exactly, because he's 1 power generator short and relying a little bit more on his hydro. Blastchilled, I would enjoy that since my house would get hit by lightning. What is this? I feel even worse now, so free win for you. Uh-oh. Well, we'll see. We'll see. From what I understand, most of the people in these last few rounds have been 1900 to 2000 rated ladder players, which I know it has been pointed out, but it is the rank that matters, because what you're looking at up here is global, not necessarily what is accurate representation of the person's 1 versus 1 skill. But I think that these two guys are going to be relatively well matched in duking it out. So we've got 3 land factories planned with no air as of yet. Mexes to be built up here with a little bit of manual reclaim on the way. 38 mass rocks are a dang good thing to have to stick in your pocket when you're trying to get your early build online. There's your heat map for reclaim. It is a ludicrous one. You've got loads of reclaim to the left, loads of reclaim to the right, tons of mass in the center, and then also your little booster shot here to get you off the ground. 3rd air factory looks like it's coming online, although it will technically be 2nd because it's finishing before Blastchilled builds his land factory with his ACU, so ordering is important, I guess, but whatever. That air factory is going to come online and produce an interceptor. On the other edge, we have got a total of 3 land factories coming online before the air factory. So it's a good thing that Blastchilled is going early. Inti, otherwise, Who Is This Noob, might have gotten smacked in the face with... Oh, nope, hold on. That is a bomber. Did he change his queue? I think he changed his queue. A mole ran in. How far did the mole get? The mole got all the way up there. So that's what happened. He scouted all the way in, saw that his opponent had not gone for second or 3rd air, and immediately changed the factory queue to a bomber. That is why you get your scout up in there early on. Blast paused ACU, nice build order. Well, I mean, it's kind of working for him, so I'm going to leave him alone on it. All right, bomber up to the north. That is going to go after the engineers, I'm sure, that are going to be getting reclaim on the north side and whatnot. Looks like we've got several land factories queued for both players. That's going to be 6, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 6, 7, and 12 out through the middle. Meanwhile, on the other edge, we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 queued for Blastchilled as that bomber completely misses the engineer. I say completely, it did actually do a small amount of damage, but it misses the engineer and wings its way towards the air factory that is now not being completed very efficiently at all due to the bomber incoming and wanting to save all of these engineers. There goes one. You gotta get the loop on the other. Here comes some units in the center. ACU is going to be able to deal with that. Bomber swinging around to kill the other. Oh, yes. Delaying that air factory yet again. Bomber coming in on 4 Engies, but they move 3 down. That is 4 engineers, 5 engineers in total that thing has dropped. Looks like we're going to have a 6th. And the anti-air nearly killed as the bomber wings away. Veterancy keeping it alive for the time being. It may get... No, did not get off the last bomb, and now it falls to the ground. That was an epic bomber indeed, taking off line a lot of the early build power for Noob. That is a devastating blow, to be sure. All right, we got 2 interceptors out for Blastchilled. He'll be able to deny whatever the hell he wants for the time being. And he's trying to move his ACU in on the units over on this side, but he simply can't get them into range, and that is unfortunate indeed. Looks like we've got a little bit of extra power spam, a lot of extra factory spam, a couple more added since we counted up to 10 just a minute ago. That's right, we got counting up in this thing. Be outpacing Sesame Street soon. We've got, where's that? Oh, ACU in the center. Who Is This Noob is happily gathering in the reclaim, one rock at a time, as his opponent is struggling to get his bearings on the match. He's kind of chasing after some enemy units, trying to figure out how to keep all of his stuff from dying, you know, the normal stuff that happens in a game, and meanwhile is going to lose a mass extractor to a handful of mantis right over there. Who is this noob? Slowing down on the reclaim, but looking excelente on the production. Looks like we've got 7 factories already completed with 8 and 9 on the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 completed for Blast Shield, but Blast Shield is a fair bit behind in score and is now falling prey to what I typically fall prey to when I am playing in a 1 versus 1. People in chat asking if I can teach them colors next. Dude, colors are way harder than numbers. There's like 50 bajillion colors and there's only, what, 10 numbers? You can count them on your hands. So I don't know if I'd be able to handle that. So this is the thing that I have difficulty with. Once you get pushed on your back foot and you're trying to react to all of the units that are coming in, one, you're going to have fewer units to respond with because your units are slowly getting killed off by bunches of units, clusters of units from the enemy team. But at the same time, your opponent is able to use that superior number of units to jib and jab at your stuff. So right now we're looking at pretty much complete map control for Who Is This Noob, and Blast Shield is struggling to get enough units online to deny. It is definitely not over yet. His bombers are having great effect on the map. He's killed off a lot of build power, and he's now in a position to expand a little bit, get a little more mass under his control. He's just got to get that reclaim in hand. But if he doesn't get back on his feet quickly, this could go south for him. He's still building more land factories. Let's take advantage of the brief stagnation to go ahead and set Focus Army to 1 so we can get a count. That's going to be about 60 units on 13 mass income. Look at this. 13 income running that many factories. That is hilarious. Okay, so that's going to be set Focus Army 0 for Blast, who is running 30 Mantis. Oh dear lord, that's very few. And the same 13 mass income, but stalling a little harder due to the lack of reclaim. So I think that is going to be GG. It would appear that Blast Shield is about to get demolished. His only hope would be a really unlucky placement of the ACU by Who Is This Noob. I mean, it's not likely to happen, but you've all seen the rest of this tournament. You know how this is going. All right. So looks like Noob is going to be moving in on Blast. What am I doing? Friggin' hell. Oh, Blast, I am so sorry, man. That is a frustrating hit to take. I have just been informed that Who Is This Noob has to win twice. Blast Shield has to win once to win the tournament. Blast Shield is shouting, "Kill me! Who is this noob? I'm trying to, and yet cannot." Blast Shield does not want to yield, and yet knows that he has been defeated. Minus 30 eco for 7 straight minutes. Not good. Not good. Excuse me, not good at all. Oh, dearly, dearly, dear. So basically, the winner of the next round wins the tournament, because I do believe that Who Is This Noob has secured this victory. So it's going to be Noob versus Blast Shield one more time. Winner takes all. We have arrived at the last match, and it is going back to the basics. It's on 4-leaf clover. Our competitors, of course, are Blast Shield in the north and Who Is This Noob in the south. Going first land, 2 power generators, walking ACU to the front, oddly enough, picking up these 203 mass wrecks, and it looks like Blast Shield is doing literally exactly the same thing. So we'll see how that turns out for them, meeting up in the middle. Maybe they'll meet in the middle beneath that old Georgia pine, but I don't think that the ACUs would fit. On the north side, looks like a land factory, 1 power generator, 2 mass extractors, and then the hydro with ACU walking to the front. So a little tiny bit of a deviation, but not too terribly much. And I think that Blast Shield will probably arrive on the front line more quickly. So that's going to be 1 engineer on the hydro after a mass extractor, 2 engineers on the hydro. This is a very difficult map to play. I have tried it a few times and I have gotten my butt handed to me a few times. There's a bit of reclaim around the outside edges. You got to kind of know where to go for the manual reclaim, and you got to also get the tree clumps. Then in the middle, there's a lot of mass. If you let your opponent get this, you are going to end up screwed. These are only worth like 5 or 10 mass that are scattered around, but of course the 203s out here are a relatively big deal. Then you've also got this system of choke points where you've got gap here, gap here, gap here, yada, yada, yada. You are able to get a total of 10 mass extractors in each expansion if you can control them. The problem is, drops are a thing. Drops can really Shrek your day if you're not careful. You can just kind of lip over the wall here, drop a couple of units, and then your combat units are way over here at the neck, and you run this way and they run that way, and you play Ring Around the Rosie in the center, and in general it just ends really badly for everyone. We've got a Mantis out, first combat unit for Who Is This Noob? There's actually not one yet for Blast Shield. Blast Shield's going for 3 land factories, 1 air factory. I'm not entirely sure of the ordering, but it is not too terribly important. Looks like we're going for 3rd air for Who Is This Noob, followed by an additional land factory, so same kind of build going on. Looks like the manual reclaim has been dropped over here, although not on the proper rocks. That is a flurry of motion over there trying to get all that in hand, and then moving over to the mass extractores. Blast Shield is going to be the first to the mass. He's going to be able to suck up probably all 3 before Who Is This Noob can even make it. And then he's going to start working on his own Rex. That is bad news. Who Is This Noob queuing over to the other edge, decided to suck up his own. That means that most of the mass in the middle is going to go to Blast Shield. That is unfortunate for Who Is This Noob. It's going to give Blast Shield a massive leg up, dropping a 4th land factory to get more spam online before moving over to get the rest of this stuff. All right, Noob was able to nab that wreck, which did end up pretty well for him. Blast Shield is going to go take up a position on the right-hand side to try and lock down this expansion away from Who Is This Noob. And looks like he's also going to try to get units in on this edge to secure both sides. So Blast Shield being incredibly proactive right now, trying his bestest to get as many mechs under his control as possible. That's going to be 4 Mantis versus 3, withdrawing ever so slightly in order to stay in control. And now there's air out for Noob. But Blast Shield knows it, and Blast Shield is powering through an additional air factory right now. That's going to be 5 land factories going on 6 for Noob. Blast Shield dropping a point defense right there on the edge to protect that ACU. I would love to see some additional land factories up here for Blast. Otherwise, he is going to get outproduced by a country mile. This point defense over here, let's check the range as we check our ecos. These guys are running neck and freaking neck for economy or for map control. We're going to go set focus army 0, which is probably going to, yes, dump us into Blast Shield's perspective. He has got 13 Mantis, 21 mass per tick. Then on the south side, we've got 19 Mantis, thanks to those 2 additional factories on 21 mass per tick. So right now, advantage goes to Who Is This Noob? But again, this is the very earliest portion of the game, so I don't think that we need to be getting too worked up about who is ahead at this particular instance. I'm going to go back to 0 and check. Yes, that T1 point defense does overlap the edge there. And that was a clean engineer kill by the bomber coming in from Noob. I'm going to back this off to -1 so we can get back to observers. That'll put us in the position that we need to be. Okay. So we got a little reclaim of the manual variety over here for who is this Noob, leaving behind a 10 wreck, but picking up some mantis over on this side. Well done there, feeding the war machine as he's getting into this extra expansion. So we've got all mexes filled +4, and Blast Chilled is just now clinching his last mass extractor in his own expansion and has just gotten these two up over here. So he is pretty dang far behind on his eco expansion and on unit production. So it is going to take some serious doing to be able to get this whipped into shape. He is moving a drop around the back edge to go build land factories, I'm sure, and mass extractors over on this side. That should greatly speed up his expansion. Well done on that one. And he was able to keep his bomber alive with a little bit of a dodge. Unfortunately, though, he did lose air control, so there's the possibility that he'll still lose that engineer with that bomber coming in. Please go and build your mechs, please. I don't want you to leave it. Unbuilt mexes kind of hurt my soul. Oh, somebody just started gun. It was Noob. Already on 6% and rocking a pretty decent power income, to be sure, if he is going for that and tree reclaim. He's also going for the hydro over on that side. So I would love to see Blast Chill drop the hydro and maybe match that upgrade, but I don't think he has the intel on it due to a rather extreme lack of oversight. So 16 and paused. Blast Shield is going to make a move. This is what I was talking about with Ring Around the Rosie in the center. If he moves those units, come on, man. Don't let him sit still. Okay, so he's only sending 3. He's going to withdraw the rest. Raid on the other side simultaneously, and he'll be able to kill off, well, at least heavily damage. Maybe he's yeah, he's going to park that one mantis there to kill off those mass extractors while running the other 2 around that side. Brilliant raiding there. Well freaking done. The bomber was able to take out all 4 of those engineers before it died to the interceptors. So unfortunate there for Blast Shield, but in return he is going to get, oh, he is going to get wrecked by T1 point events. He's trying to kill off all the engineers before his mantis die. Of course, it does take time for the point events to chew through those mantis. He got the Medusa in too close, and now those mantis are going to be felled by the mighty T1 PD. So it slowed down that expansion, to be sure, knocked out a lot of mass extractors, but in the end, did it even matter? Did it? We'll have to wait and see. We've got troop movement over to the left. Looks like Blast Shield is dumping gun as quickly as possible with all of the mantis at his disposal. He's now moving some units over to the left to catch, which I think that Noob has detected that motion and has decided to move his stuff over to the other side. Looks like Blast Shield is stalling out to get this gun upgrade. 44% versus 90%. We got troop movement coming in. Cleared 50. But the other gun is complete. Looks like Noob is going to take the dive. Oh no! Bomber on the tightly packed mantis. But luckily it dropped the bombs where those tanks were already dead. 80% on the gun. Thankfully, who is this Noob is being very slow to get his ACU up to the front, so this gun will be complete in time. Blast Shield running just about neck and neck on eco now. I'm amazed that there haven't been additional drops to the rear. We've got a total of 10, yes, 10 land factories, 2 air factories for Noob versus 9 land factories, 1 air factory for Blast Shield. So this is going to come down to unit micro here. Noob has more units, but Blast Shield is better situated to take them out. So in comes the other commander, now wailing away on each other's ACUs. That is a waste of DPS. Units have got to move to the front to block the units coming in. And that is going to be a sweep on Blast Shield. Bomber coming in. Blast Shield desperately striving to build enough units to stop this carnage. But Blast Shield is now under direct fire from that gun comp down to about half HP. Interceptors coming in to knock out the bomber. Energy storage is up, so an overcharge is available. But he's still in range of the enemy commander, 1600 HP. There's the stop to drop an overcharge. A veterancy is going to bring him up just a little bit, but it is not enough. Well played, noob. I don't know whether you were, kidding about not knowing or not playing on this map before, except for one time, or if you're just that damn good of a 1 versus 1er, but good lord, that was sheer carnage. Ah, well played, well played. Who is this noob taking the tournament win? Blast Shield pulling up in second place, and as we mentioned before, Pachi coming in third. So there is your King of Cybran tournament, guys. Who is this noob? Obviously last man standing and wearing that freaking crown. That is gonna wrap everything up for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, feel free to drop a like and share it with someone. If you want to support the channel, catch the streams, or join the Discord, check out the links in the description. Thank you all for being at least partially insane, and I will see you in the next one.